Hi, everyone. This is your host, Kristen Howe, and I am so excited to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Marilyn Alauria. Marilyn is an internationally known medium, healer, and teacher of psychic development. She inherited her gifts from her grandmother and has been having psychic experiences since the age of 5. She uses all of her gifts, seeing, hearing, and feeling, to give you messages from your guides that are always with you and your loved ones who have crossed over. She engages her clients in warmth as she guides them to anchor into their soul's purpose. She does more than just provide a connection to the afterlife. She gives her clients an action plan. Marilyn teaches people around the world how to develop their own gifts. And on the call with Marilyn today, you will discover why only 7 chakras get the spotlight, why it's important to clear and balance each chakra, how each chakra acts as a portal for you to deepen your human experience and connects you to higher ascended masters, angels, and guides for divine guidance. So, Marilyn, I can't wait to get started with the call. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I really appreciate it, and thank you, everybody, for taking the time to listen to this information. I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited to share you with everyone. This is a really cool group of people. They've been with me for a long time, and I'm really excited to share what you have because it's a unique perspective and a unique way of looking at things, and I think it's timely for everybody here to hear this. So what I'd love to do is have you give us a bit of your story. Share with us maybe some of the turnarounds you've experienced and, really how you've ended up manifesting the current life and current successes that you have today.
I love that way you asked that question because a lot of people always want to know like how I became a medium, which I'll share really quickly. And it really has changed my life. But I feel that we all hold gifts. And that's part of my work as a medium is to teach people how to recognize their psychic gifts so that they can move their own lives along because that's why I did it. So I had my first psychic experience when I was 5 years old on Easter Sunday when my parents told me to hide and they hid my gifts. And when I came out, they told me that I went exactly to where my gifts were. And I saw where they hid them. I saw exactly what they gave me when I was in the bedroom. I saw it in my third eye. And that was my first experience. But at 5 years old, you have no clue what's going on, and your parents cheated. It's like you don't understand it. And I constantly had experiences throughout my life, but I was also raised in a very traumatic household. So it's hard to distinguish between what's psychological and what's psychic because it can get very confusing for a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners understand that. I'm sure a lot of your listeners are empathic where they pick up people's energies and emotions. Do you do that, Kristen? Are you empathic where you pick up people's energy and emotions?
Absolutely, and I do know that quite a few of our listeners are as well, so you're spot on.
Yeah, and that can be so like the way that a lot of people deal with that is they shut down their heart chakra. And you don't want to shut down your heart chakra. You want to be able to really live your life from all of your chakras being open and balanced. So that's one of the reasons why I teach this work. But that was the same thing for me. It was too overwhelming. So I would drink or I would do whatever I had to do to try to deaden those emotions. And I was studying dream work and different psychic type of things, tools like tarot. But I was working in television as producer, production manager, a very pragmatic job, budgeting and hiring people and all that kind of stuff. And I started hearing my name called, and we'd turn around and nobody would be there. And my psychic experiences started becoming more profound, and I just did not understand what was going on. Like I would hear whispering by my ear, and I would not know where it was coming. I would just say, oh, it's my angels. Or I would wake up and I'd hear the radio and 2 people talking, but the radio wasn't on. I'd even unplug the radio, but there were like 2 people talking in my room. And it was very confusing for me, but I knew that something must have been opening up. And then I started seeing spirits. And when I started seeing spirits, and I know this happens to a lot of my students, I thought it was my imagination. I thought it was my post-traumatic stress syndrome that I was diagnosed with. I didn't understand that I was actually seeing spirits. And it wasn't until I started getting locked in rooms, like doors would literally lock, doorknobs would fall off. It was just crazy. I had screwdrivers in every room. I would scream out windows to neighbors to come help me. And then when I walked into a door and got 7 stitches in my head, I knew, because I was already seeing psychics and I was already understanding of it, I knew something was going on a universal level that I had to understand. And I went to see a psychic and she said, the dead were trying to reach me. And then I went to a medium and the medium walked in and said, you're a medium. And that opened all the floodgates for me. And spirits were everywhere. I just couldn't get them. Like, they were just all over the place. They are all over the place. And I had to learn how to work with my gifts because I was petrified. And I'm a very fear-based person, and I was a very fear-based person. I'm not any longer. And fear-based people are people that, and it's amazing now how I'm recognizing clients that are fear-based, and when I tell them this, they don't know what I'm talking about, or they are taken aback and they're like, oh my goodness, you're right. Fear-based people are people that when you're making a choice, it's not coming from love, it's coming from fear. Like people have syndrome, the other shoe is going to drop, or, oh my goodness, if I make this choice, this is going to happen to me, or this may happen to me, or this accident's going to happen, or, I'm going to lose money. Like, that's fear-based thinking. And a lot of psychics with gifts have that fear-based thinking. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kristen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love, by the way, that you are being very upfront about the fact that you were very fear-based, because I think a lot of people feel like, oh, okay, well, here I am sort of speaking to everyone to help them, and so I can't admit that I'm very fear-based. And I think it's really helpful for us to hear that, because that shows that you found a way through that.
Yeah, I like to teach through experience, and that to me, because I learned through experience, it sounds like you agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think it's very important.
Yeah, because I find sometimes on the telesummits, you or wherever you're teaching, some students really do want to just not know anything about the person, and they just want to believe that that person is already a master at everything. I'm not. I'm constantly in evolution. I'm constantly growing, constantly expanding. But I can tell everybody this. So I went to see another medium because I was really entrenched in it now and trying to learn and trying to not be frightened of my own gifts and fascinated by it. I was always fascinated. I was making Play-Doh, voodoo dolls out of Play-Doh when I was like 7 years old. I was always into witches and all that thing. And I went to see this medium, and he said to me, learn how to use your gifts because it's going to move your life along. And it was that statement that changed my life forever, and it continues to change every single day. So what did it do for me? I was working as a bookkeeper then, trying to be an actress. I was an actress in New York, and then when I came to California, it was a little more difficult for me. I was miserable, unhappy, not living in alignment with my soul. And I started studying how to work with my gifts. And before long, I was out of bookkeeping, working as a full-time medium, left acting. I was already, like, my acting life started picking up, and I would leave to go do a short film or a film, and I was working on a murder case with a spirit, and I didn't want to leave the spirit. And that's when it started really showing me, like, no, this is, like, so much more in alignment with my soul. And so much has happened from that. I really know who I am. I'm really, like, people or my friends will always turn around to me, and they're like, you know your boundaries so well, and I do. I have very good boundaries now. I didn't have good boundaries as a kid. They were crossed constantly. Who taught me boundaries? I didn't know them. So these gifts have really allowed me to make very conscious, clear choices about how I want to spend my time, who I want to spend my time with, and what I want my life to look like. And my life, this is a quick technique I'll give everyone. At the end of your day, go through the events of your day and rate them from a scale to 1 to 10. 1 is usually the least fun, 10 being the most fun. And start recognizing what brings you fun and joy and what doesn't. And it can be very eye-opening. And so what I can say from my own experience is this has really gotten me to really sit in the seat of my soul and live my life that I'm meant to live in the fullest expression of myself. Yes, I'm still growing. It doesn't mean I was having a frustrating this morning, but it's still growing. But it's been amazing.
I love that. Okay, so let's get into this, because I love that you're a medium and you actually incorporate the chakras. I personally have not necessarily heard about someone doing that before. So, and you really chose to work with 7 chakras. Can you explain why, and also which chakras you've chosen to work with?
Yeah, the reason why I work with 7, it's not that to say I don't believe that I know there's more. People say there's 12. No, there's like 18 to 25. There's even more than that. There's an infinite number of them, is what I've just heard from my guides. But unless you know how to ground and balance your first 7 chakras, you really should not be leaving your body heading into the other chakras. Because when you start, the first 4 chakras are really grounding you into your life, helping you to have an earthly existence. We're all these baby angels in a human body trying to navigate this world where all this energy is going on. You know, just this morning, I was just seeing so much death on Facebook and emails, and it's like, oh my goodness. And how do you navigate your life when you're constantly being hit with, you know, that's the regular cycle of life, but some of these stories are very sad. How do you navigate your life if you're a very feeling person? Well, you really need to learn how to balance those chakras, be in those chakras, heal those chakras, so that you can live a much more grounded life. And then the third chakra, the upper three, which is throat, third eye, and crown, really starts getting you into spirit energy. Now, as a medium, we raise our vibration and spirit lowers their vibration so that we can communicate. And in order to raise your vibration, you have to be grounded in yourself, which is the first four chakras, and then you have to raise your vibration to meet with them, and then they come down. If you're not balanced, you're flying out of your body constantly, you're going into all sorts of dimensions, you're pulling things out of dimensions that may not serve you. And it could really, you know, it's funny, somebody was just saying to me about how they noticed that their psychic ability was opening up and they were bringing in all this crazy stuff in their life. And they're like, you know what I'm talking about, right? And I'm like, yeah, I was having car accidents, you know, walking into walls, getting 7 stitches in my head, like constant crazy stuff. And it's because all my psychic energy was all over the place pulling. It was like, you know, an antenna just pulling in craziness. And you have to balance that in order not to pull in that crazy energy anymore. And then you can go into the other chakras, but you have to master these. So many people just want to jump ahead before they're ready.
Yeah,
and so I work with all 7 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and you say, and you were just hinting at this a little bit, but why is it so important, first of all, to clear? So it's not just balance, but clear and balance each chakra.
Great question. I love your question. It's important because when you get into the chakras, and we'll do a technique on the call because I want everybody to have this experience, you'll notice that your heart chakra will have energy that is not yours. Maybe it was put on you by somebody else, or maybe your mother said something to you when you were 5 years old and you took it as belief, and you now store it in your heart chakra and it no longer serves you. So you have to clear it out in order to get clarity in this heart chakra so you're living your life from a heart-centered place. Now, all the chakras work together. It's not like we just focus on the heart, because I see them as rooms, and I see the ceilings and the floors transparent so that they can blend energy together. And every chakra holds a gift for me. So you want to hone each gift so that you're really engaging those gifts as you go through your life. And one of the things I'll say real quickly as a medium, when I first started studying, I wasn't taught about the chakras, and I was already doing readings, and my readings were great. And then once I learned about the chakras, my readings went through the roof. So I was already really good, and then I just got even better because I was now taking my power back. And balancing your chakras is allowing you to empower yourself, too. I want people to stop looking outside themselves for the answers. I want them to start grounding inside themselves. It doesn't mean that I don't go to experts in certain fields to learn something so that I can open up more and get the tools, but I really want to sit in my power. How many times do you go to a class and you're getting taught by someone and the teaching doesn't resonate with you, or the way it's being taught to you doesn't resonate with you, but because everybody in the room is loving it, you think, oh, maybe I should be loving this. Something's wrong with me. No, you need to take your power back, take what you like about the class, and then leave. I love that I feel like I'm hitting on things that you're agreeing with.
Oh, it's so perfect, because that's one of the things I believe. That's actually why I love doing the series, is because I think it's less about, oh, this person, so I should follow everything. It's all about finding the things that work for you and what you agree with, exactly what you just said. And that doesn't mean you have to adopt all of it. It's what resonates with you. So I'm thrilled that you just said that.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say to people, because what I've learned is you have to create your own brand. So some people will say to me, well, there's so many life coaches out there. I'm like, yeah, but nobody has your expertise, your life experience that you're bringing to the table, and there's an audience for everyone. And I would sit in these rooms and be taught by mediums, and when you're in a room full of mediums, the energy is very high, but there's also a competition sometimes in those rooms. And I can recall one class, and I won't say the medium's name, he's very famous, and yet I learned things from him, but I found his delivery to be atrocious and very demeaning. And so I walked out of that. Some people walked out of that class like, I'm not going to be a medium anymore. I can't be. And I was like, F that, I don't agree with what he's doing. I'm going to be a better teacher than that. But I do like some of the skill sets he gave me, and I do respect him when I see him as a medium perform because I know he's got talent.
Right.
So you're able to distinguish, and if I sat those rooms, sometimes the people can't stand me because I'm a little too verbal, but if I sat in those rooms and just got too afraid of my own self, what I felt was good for me, nurturing for me, then I would just blend with everybody else and lose myself.
Exactly. And that's, again, I love this because everyone has their own unique perspective. Even if we're all talking about the same exact thing, we are all going to have something slightly different that, we'll be like, oh, wow, that was unique. That was so interesting. So I love this. Okay, so let me first ask you a question because I think this is an important thing. As I said, this is a very open-minded group. Yet I want to address that, of course, there is a certain amount of skepticism around mediums and all of that. So can you address that a little bit, just in terms of what it really means to be a medium and what is going on, just so that we understand it? And, I think a lot of times it's just sort of sensationalized out there. And I really want to hear it from you because you're a very straightforward, normal person, which I love. So
thank you. Yeah, it's a great question. And skepticism to me is wonderful because I was a skeptical medium. So here I was working in the field, and I'd be like, prove it to my spirit guides, or the spirits that came through. Prove it, prove it, prove it. And they would prove it over and over again with things that I didn't possibly know in a reading, and confirmation would come my way, and it would blow me away too, besides the person. But I'd still be like, prove it, And I feel like skepticism allows you, as long as you don't let it negate, it allows you to open your mind, as long as you don't let it close your mind. And I also feel as a medium, and I'll explain what mediums do, but I also feel like I know what I know today, but I also, as my guides continue to teach me, and I won't know, I know what I believe in, but I know it keeps shifting and changing, and I don't know that I'll really know the whole truth until I'm gone too, till I'm dead, past, and I don't even know if I'll know then. So to me, it's a bottomless pit of learning. It's wonderful.
I love that.
Why cap it out?
Yeah, exactly. The constant evolution is an exciting thing.
Plus, it's shifting constantly outside. So what mediums do, or what I believe, because I come from a different school of mediumship than some people, when you come in for a reading, I take everything from my guides who are speaking to your guides, or from a spirit that's departed that comes through. I do not read your energy field. So all mediums are psychic, not all psychics are mediums. So psychics will sometimes read just what's in your energy field. What you're wearing, like a coat, what your boyfriend's name is, what color car you drive, where you live. That's all you're wearing that when you walk through the door. We take everything from our guides who are talking to your guides, or if a deceased person comes through. And what I have found from the spirits that are past, they really don't care about talking about what's going on for them. They're fine. They want to talk about you. So they'll confirm they're in the room. They'll tell me how they passed. They'll give me certain confirmation because they have to give me confirmation so the person I'm reading can say, yes, that's my dad for sure. And then they're going to talk about your life, your journey, where you're going. And we all have free will. So be cautious if you go in for a reading with anyone. And this is what is a pet peeve of mine, and I know people do this. They'll say, nope, sorry, it's not going to work out. Forget it. Get over it. Who are you to tell me that?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's intense. Okay, so good. So that, I think that's really helpful. All right. So talk to me about this. You say that every chakra has a gift. Is it like every chakra has a specific gift, or just that we all will find different gifts within each of our chakras?
Every chakra has a specific gift, but you'll find probably it's almost like they're showing me a little pod with little tentacles. So there'll probably be more for you personally in that particular chakra. So the first chakra to me it's about really opening up to safety, opening up to self-worth. So the gift is not necessarily psychic as much as it's grounded in your earthly experience as yourself. Grounding into the world. It's very important to ground whenever you do mediumship, because for the longest time I would be in different dimensions and I didn't want to live here, so I had suicidal thoughts all the way up into my mid-30s. I thought that was normal. I thought everybody would go into the bathroom and think, I just want to die today.
Huh.
You know, and it wasn't until I started working with a therapist who understood how to work with mediums that I realized, oh, it's because it's really hard for me to walk on this earth plane. I just want to be in the other dimension. That's why I don't want to be here.
Wow. So then how did you dealt with that through grounding?
Through grounding, through working with my guides, and through understanding what my life's purpose was here, you know, and I'm going to say my life's purpose. I feel like our life's purpose is always going to shift, you know, it's going to grow and expand. So I'm obviously of service, helping people to, my goal is to help people to see the fullest expression of themselves and align with their souls and anchor into their truth. So that's what it is. So however form that takes as I grow into it, you know, so once I started seeing my purpose in that way and how I could be of service, it made me want to stay here. And this is the other thing people need to recognize, you know, you all I believe we all have guides, okay? And our guides, it's a relationship. They're not just serving us, we're serving them too. We're giving them an opportunity to work through us.
I love that.
Yeah.
What a cool way of looking at it, and that makes it, to me at least, that makes it so much more powerful. Okay, so the first chakra, we're dealing with safety.
Yeah.
Okay, and then can you share with us some of the other chakras as well, just to give us an idea?
Totally. Second chakra is about creativity, about creating things, and I believe your psychic ability runs in alignment with your imagination. You can't shut down your imagination when you start working with your psychic ability. So this chakra is really important. You've got to let yourself, a lot of people say, how do I know I'm not making it up? Well, my guide said to me early on, who cares if you're making it up or not? We're giving you great advice. Just go with it.
That's great.
So that's how I teach, and it really, then in turn you learn, you know, what's really their information and what may be something, and there's a way to learn that. Third chakra, which is above the navel, is about clairsentience. It's trusting your gut instincts, sensing and feeling things on that gut level. Fourth chakra's heart is empathic ability, picking up people's energies, emotions, also physical pain, but also picking up emotional energy of spaces, of world events, lives in your heart chakra. Throat chakra is about clairaudience, clear hearing. Now, I believe that everybody can hear, whether you hear outside your ear or inside your head. It's like a news flash that jumps in. It's your own guides giving you information, God, source, whatever you believe in. Third eye chakra is clairvoyance, clear seeing. And I teach all of this in a different way. Clairvoyance can be using external objects, numbers over and over again, repetitive symbolism. Learning their language is really important, how they speak to us. And then the crown chakra is divine energy, really reaching the source, mediumship energy, connecting with source.
Very cool. Okay, so is that why, you know, you say that each chakra acts as a portal for you to deepen your human experience? So is that what you mean, that when we start working with these chakras and the gifts that they provide for us, is that what deepens our human experience?
Definitely, because you know yourself better. When you're in your heart chakra and balanced, and all of a sudden you get an email from Fred to go out to dinner, a good friend of yours that you always go to dinner with, and you're like, I don't really want to go to dinner with Fred, but because Fred needs me right now, I'm going to go. No. When your heart chakra is balanced, you're deepening that energy inside of you, and you're knowing yourself. That portal is to yourself. That portal is to your soul. And you're saying, you know what, not going to go to dinner with Fred because my heart is telling me right now I need to go home and rest.
Interesting.
And you're servicing yourself. I believe that answered the question. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. And so it really, the portal is to ourselves, our true self. And you also say that the chakras connect us to our guides, the ascended masters, the angels. So explain how it's connecting it to ourselves and to them. Is there a profound connection between us and them? Does that make sense?
Yes, completely.
Okay,
and
thank you.
It's a great question. I believe that we're all one. We all come from the same energy. So really, as much as there are ascended masters out there and angels out there, we and God, you know, if you believe in God, God is in us and we're in God. We're in the angels are in us. So I do see them as separate forms, you know, only because I feel like they hold different types of wisdom and energy and they can teach us things. But I do believe that a lot of that is completely connected to us, and it's allowing us to become one together.
I love that.
And raise our energy.
And I love that what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I'm getting from it is that I think a lot of people might even go to like, ooh, I'm just going to connect with my guides, but forget about connecting with me. And you're saying that both are essential because both are connected. Am I hearing you right?
Definitely.
See, I love that. I love the honoring of how important the connection with ourselves is as well. Okay, so now we've laid a really great groundwork. I'd love to start talking about the chakras specifically. I know you said you were going to share with us, some things about how we can balance. But the first question I have is, can a chakra get shut down?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so what happens then? And are we in trouble?
Yeah, because think about it. If your first chakra is shut down, so you're living in a non-safety. So when I went to my first acting class, it was a method acting class. Method acting is about using sense memory, things from your own personal past. And the teacher said to me, okay, create a safe place. And I sat there. She left me, and I was like, I don't have a safe place. I don't feel safe. There's nothing in my past that makes me feel safe. So my chakra there was completely shut down. And she came over to me, and she said, I told her, she was a great, loving teacher, and she said, well, do you have an animal that makes you feel safe? And I had a childhood, a dog. I have animals now, too, that made me feel safe. So she said, create that animal and be with that animal. So she opened up that chakra by me creating that safe feeling. So if you're not feeling safe and that chakra is shut down, how are you making choices in your life if nothing feels safe to you?
Right.
Because everything's then coming out of fear, and everything's coming out of nobody has my back, I don't trust anything, I can't trust anything. Wow.
Okay, so even if one of our chakras is shut down, we can open it up again.
Completely. Because if one of our chakras is shut down, you kind of like when somebody comes to me for a reading, and we'll do that right now. We can do an exercise right now that'll help everyone know which chakra may be shut down. I'm actually going to change this exercise to give me different information. So do you want to do something like that real quick, Kristen?
That would be amazing.
Okay, great. So just close your eyes. Everyone close their eyes and just breathe into your stomach 3 times, just grounding your energy into yourself. Say your name to yourself with each breath, calling your energy into yourself, calling your spirit in. Now, I want you to bring your attention to your first chakra, which is at the base of the spine. And the first chakra is usually red. And I want you to see a ball of energy outside the chakra, sitting outside the chakra. And I want you to recognize 2 things. How the ball of energy is moving. Is it moving at all? And if the chakra, as it moves or doesn't move, does the chakra change color? So the chakra is normally red. And if it changes color, recognize what color it changes to. Now go into your second chakra, move that ball of energy up, which is below your navel. And this is normally orange. Notice how that ball of energy is moving. And notice if the color orange is shifting at all, or if it's staying orange, maybe it's deepening. Just recognize what's happening as that ball of energy sits outside that chakra. Now go to your third chakra, which is above the navel, and that's yellow light, where clairsentience lives. Notice that yellow light. Remember, it's always like a room, so there's always like 4 walls and a ceiling and a floor, and the ball of energy sits outside of it. Notice how the ball of energy is moving or if it's not moving. And as you take your attention from the ball of energy back to the chakra, notice if the color changes in the chakra. Does it deepen? Does it change color? Now go into your heart chakra, and which is green light. See the ball of energy outside the heart chakra. Notice if the ball of energy is moving again or if it's not moving. And notice if the color shifts or stays the same or deepens. Go to your throat chakra and notice how your throat chakra is blue, how that color is, how the ball of energy outside your throat chakra. And just notice if it changes it, what the ball of energy is like. Now go into your third eye chakra, which is indigo. And I always feel like we all have our own experience of indigo color. Notice that ball of energy outside your third eye chakra, how it's moving. And then if it changes the color at all. Now go into your crown chakra, which is, above your head. And it's usually white with lavender specks for me. Put the ball of energy on top of it. It could be 6 to 8 inches. It may be closer. It doesn't matter. Notice if the ball of energy is moving. And notice if it changes that color at all or if it deepens the color. Now, before you open your eyes, I'm going to ask you a question. You don't know what I'm asking. And you're just going to trust the first thing that comes to you. Whenever you do this work, don't second guess yourself. There's never any right or wrongs because you're the judge of your work. You're the gauge. I'm going to ask you to, and your guides know what I'm asking, show you a color for A. What color is A? What color is B now? What color are you seeing for B? Okay, Kristen, open your eyes.
Okay.
What color did you get for A?
Gold.
Great. What color did you get for B?
Green.
Okay. Now, what I had asked, and I'm going to explain this process so you understand it real quick, and we're going to use you. A was the positive color. So if you noticed, if in any of the chakras, if gold got infused, that was meant it was raising its vibration. If it didn't only deepen, it raised its vibration. Green for you is a negative type of color just for this exercise.
Okay.
So if green got infused anywhere, that would show you that it might have been slowing down. The ball of energy, if it's not moving, it's showing you that the chakra shut down. If the ball is very vibrantly, energetically moving, then the chakra is open. If the color deepens, to me, that's showing you that that chakra is opening more. If the colors change, so let's take your first chakra, which was red. And if anybody, sometimes you go into these meditations and you're like, I can't remember what color came in. You go with the first thing that comes to you. Even if your eyes are open, I don't care. If I say to you, Kristen, right now, if you couldn't remember what color got infused or what happened, you're just going to trust, you're just going to answer the question now. So the first color is red. What was the ball doing outside of there?
Nothing. It wasn't moving.
Okay. And then now let me ask you a question. Do you feel that there's truth? Do you feel more if the ball wasn't moving, that meant that it was open?
No.
Okay, you felt like it was, okay, good. So you're following my rules of the ball not moving, not open. Okay, good. Because sometimes people do opposites, and that they have to respect their intuition. So
sure.
What happened with that red color? Did anything get infused in there?
It was a really, really faded, almost like a faded rose color.
Okay. Faded rose color, would you say it was erring on the side of pink, or is just red, kind of a dullish red or a faded red?
Like a faded red. Like sun had been on it for way too long.
Okay, good. So
washed out.
Great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to teach you all how to break down symbols on your own first. What does the color red mean to you? Quickly give it to me.
Power.
Great. Okay. So you can do two things. You can look up in symbolic meaning. Everything has a symbolic meaning. You can look up the symbolic meaning of red on the internet. I have a lot of books about symbol meanings. And what I suggest to everyone is always just 6 or 10 websites may come up. Take the one that resonates with you the most. You may read different meanings, but only take the one that resonates. Now, what's interesting to me is you answered this right away. Red is power to you, and it's fading here. This is about grounding. This is about safety. This is about trust. I don't feel like you're not a trusting person. I feel like for you, and you can tell me whether I'm wrong or right, I feel like for you it's about stepping into your power more. It's about stepping into the next phase of your life, the next phase of your work, and owning it and being bigger. Is that correct?
100%. Absolutely.
Okay, good. So let's go to your second chakra. What was the ball doing outside your second chakra?
It was just a really, I'm doing it with my hand, but I don't know how to verbalize it. It was like a slate vibration, almost like a little bouncing.
Great. Okay, so it's a little more open. What color, did it stay orange? Did it change? What did it do?
It did. It started off a little more vibrant and again faded a little bit.
Okay, good. So what does orange mean to you quickly?
Oh my God, nothing came to mind. Honestly, that's never happened in my life, but nothing came to mind.
Okay, good. So what that suggests to me, because that's a meaning in and of itself, that nothing came to your mind, that this is about, I would suggest to you, this is about exploring your creativity in a new and different way. And I would ask that you go out of the box of what you normally do to be creative. They would, in other words, if say you were a singer, and they would say, well, go take a pottery class, because that's something you don't need to be good at. That's something you need to try and just be creative. So I would ask that you take a few things and you explore creativity, because your creativity is going to feed the next platform of your life of power. It's going to infuse divine inspiration into you. Does that make sense?
Yes, completely.
Okay. So let's do one more, and then I can show you how to clear a chakra so we can work with it. I'm going to stay with your third. They want to stay with your third. So that's yellow. What was the ball doing outside the yellow chakra?
Really, really slowly spinning clockwise.
Great. Interesting, clockwise. Okay, good. I get what that means. And then what happened with the color, the yellow color?
That was actually, it was a pretty steady, like the color didn't change. It was a pretty steady color.
Great.
Like pretty steady yellow.
And then yellow, what does yellow mean to you real quick?
Truth.
Right. Love that. So I felt right away with you that you already trust your instincts, you trust your gut. And I feel like what this is saying to you, and there was something around time, because it was the first time you said clockwise, like you really recognized that. And it felt about moving forward in a way. And it's about really remembering times in your life where you've trusted your gut and it's been right on, and to continue to build that muscle as you're moving forward into the next phase of your life.
Does
that make
perfect.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Because please, like, be honest with me. It doesn't serve me.
Oh, no, I will.
Okay,
I will
good.
completely be honest. No, this is
because I personally find when people say to me, no, it doesn't make, and then we work with it, and then we find a deeper truth, and it's always a beautiful thing. Great. I do want to go to your heart really quick. So what was happening outside your heart? How was the ball outside your heart?
It was getting smaller.
Okay. And then was it moving, though?
Maybe like a vibration. It wasn't spinning.
Okay. And then what about the color?
I actually had a lot, and this was surprising to me, I had a lot of trouble seeing any color.
Okay. Now, this can shift. Everyone needs to know this. Just because you're holding gold and green during this exercise doesn't mean that 2 weeks from now, green's not going to hold a high, vibrant resolution energy for you. So green was one of your, like, low vibration colors when I asked that question. And that's very much about, I feel like, if I may say, Kristen, what this is about is, because I feel like you're very mindful, very much, I don't feel like you're out of alignment with your soul, by the way. This is about raising you to the next platform of your work and who you are. It's about growing you into a more expansive person. We all want to continue to grow. We're creative beings. We're constantly going to look for that. And I feel like this is about really getting in touch with what your heart wants you to know, what your heart wants to dictate for the path. I don't feel like you're shut down heart-wise. I feel like it's just a new way of opening doors is what they're saying. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to clear a chakra real quick for everybody? I can show you how to clear it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. So close your eyes. Everybody close their eyes. And pick one of the chakras where you felt the ball wasn't as vibrant. Maybe your ball was moving for everyone. Then just go to wherever your intuition is taking you. Kristen, I'd like you to go to your heart, but if your body's like, nope, jumping into the crown, follow your own instincts.
Okay.
Okay? Go into that chakra and really see it as a room. See the 4 walls, see the ceiling, see the floor. And I want you to paint that chakra the color that it is. So if it's the first chakra, it's red, second is yellow, third is orange, fourth is green, throat is blue, third eye is indigo, crown is lavender, white with lavender specks. So you're going to paint that chakra that beautiful color. And even if it's struggling, like, I'm having a hard time getting that green in there. And I'd like you to infuse the color in this chakra with that positive color. So for Kristen, it would be that gold color. She's going to take those walls of green, and she's going to start writing her name on each wall in that gold color. And for everybody who's listening, you're going to take that positive color, and you're going to write your name on the walls in that color. And you're owning the space. And if you have a hard time visualizing, you just work with feeling. Like, what would it feel like to write my name? And you can even put your hand out and, like, make believe you're writing it just to see what it feels like and get it into your body, get it into your muscles. I want you to take a few deep breaths in this chakra right now. And I want you to hang lights in this room, whether they're sparkly lights or whether it's a chandelier. I want you to, like, make it very cozy and comfortable. Add furniture if you'd like. And then I want you to see a vacuum in the corner of the room, whichever corner you're directed to. And you're going to turn on that vacuum, and you're going to go around this room, and you're going to allow your guides to advise you and show you or allow source energy or your higher self what no longer serves you, what keeps you from being your fullest expression of yourself. So you may have put a rug down in this room, and your guide's like, nope, this no longer serves you. And you're just going to start vacuuming everything up. You're going into the corners, almost like you're really clearing the space. And as you're clearing it, you're going to say to yourself, I'm clearing out all the negative, stale energy in the space so I can bring in positive, clean, clear energy. And you may see people appear, and you're going to just suck them up. We're not here to harm anyone. We're here to clear their energy out of this chakra. Words may appear. Dust may appear. Nothing may appear. You may just be in the air. But you're going to trust that everything is coming out. All that furniture you lay down may be sucked in because what you think served this chakra no longer may serve it. Breathe through the process, too. Owning the space. That's what you're about, owning the space. And then it appears in front of you, wherever you're facing, whatever feels more comfortable. Usually it's the wall that's like heading out in front of you. It appears to be a big, big sliding glass door. And you're going to open that door, and when I count to 3, you're going to throw that vacuum out because you no longer need it, and it's going to go all the way down into Mother Earth's fiery pits, and she's going to burn it up. 1, 2, 3. And all that energy just goes away, goes back to those situations, back to those people, not back to your past experiences. Time is not linear, so it's gone from your energetic field, your time field. Close that window and go to the opposite wall. And in the corner is a crystal, a gem, or a rock. It just appears. You may not know what it is. Just pay attention to what color it is. And just pick it up. Feel what it feels like to hold it. Turn it over and see if anything's written on it. And now go to another corner and there's a vase of flowers. Just notice what kind of flowers they are. Smell them if you want. Hold them. And now go back to that window. And I want you to open the window and let fresh air in. And as you're letting fresh air in, I want you to reach into your pocket. There's a piece of paper in there with an affirmation of what you're bringing into your life. And I want you to pull that piece of paper out and read it. And say there's nothing written on it. That is you trusting that it'll be revealed to you. What's written on this piece of paper was written by your higher self, was written by you, was written by a future you that's now with you. And I want you to say it out loud. And even if it's nothing, just say, I'm trusting my life. I'm trusting I don't know where I'm headed, but everything is beautiful. And you're infusing that energy into the chakra now, opening the chakra up, allowing that air to flow in. And you may notice butterflies or birds or insects flying in. And notice what they are. Now you can close that window. Take a look around. And on each wall, write down one positive word, whether it's love, health, peace. Just do it quickly. Go to each wall and write something. And just breathe into your stomach 3 times. And open your eyes. So how was that for you, Kristen? Did it help?
Oh, it was amazing. So I started off quite tense, actually, which is not normal for me. So my shoulders, I was like, oh my God, they're like up by my ears. And by the end, I was just so fully breathing and yeah, it just felt really very harmonious.
Okay. So the gem or the rock or the crystal is about a gift that you need to bring into your life. So I can't work with crystals because their energy is, there's too much energy that gets infused in them. But my guides taught me that you can work with the energy of a flower or a crystal, whether it's in your presence or not. So do you know what you got?
Yeah, it was a quartz crystal.
Okay. So I want you to, do you know what they mean, quartz crystals?
I do.
What do they mean?
It's the worth, or at least what I've learned, they mean is like the enhancement of all positive energy.
Great. And that's your gift to you right now in the chakra. So you may just want to read a little bit more about it and see where else that's opening you up in your gifts. Now, the flowers were about your own inner beauty What flowers did you get?
I don't know what kind of flower it was, but it was a really big, bright yellow flower. It was a single flower with like these big, bright yellow petals, almost like daisy-like, but it wasn't a daisy.
Okay. And what does yellow mean to you?
Truth.
Great. So it's about your truth. You live in truth. You're a very truthful person. That's part of your beauty. That's part of your gifts. That's part of your inner beauty. You're a very truthful person. But see if you can Google those flowers and if they do appear, if they actually exist, and then look up the meaning for them.
Okay.
Now, did any insects or birds or fly or anything fly in?
No, you know, when you said that, it was just the smell of ocean air came in like a huge clearing breeze, like a huge ocean breeze.
Okay. So what I had asked, I always ask private questions, as you can tell, you know, I'm quiet, like with the A and the B. So what I had asked is what you're no longer afraid of, what gives you strength. And the ocean, what is the ocean to you?
It's power, but I don't mean that in a very bold power way. I just mean it's like true, solid power. Great.
So that's just no longer afraid of your own power. You're no longer afraid of the power that you're going out into the world with. You know that your power is authentic. It's not hurtful or damaging to anyone. It's all truth. And the more we own our power, and doesn't mean you yell at people. We know this. You know this. It's a peaceful place. So that's what it felt to me, because what I asked is what you're no longer afraid of and what gives you strength. Okay?
Love that.
So that's it. That's how you can clear your chakras.
I love that. And so for everybody, by the way, so, you know, you were working with me, which was incredible, but everyone can go through and listen to the questions you asked with the answers that they got and really fill that in, correct?
Completely. What they need to do is look up the crystal or the rock, find out what the meaning is, and know that that's about their own gifts that they need to acknowledge if they're not acknowledging or enhance. Then the flowers about their own inner beauty, what they need to enhance or own or recognize or acknowledge or just grow more. And then if an insect flew in or a butterfly or anything like that, it's what's going to give you strength. So everything has a symbolic meaning, and you're no longer afraid of what that insect means. Like if butterflies are about transmutation through joy, so you're not afraid of transformation. You're not afraid of transition. It's giving you strength. So it's that. And then the 4 words that you wrote around, it would be beneficial for people to draw those 4 pieces of paper, 4 words on each piece of paper, sleep with it under your pillow, infusing your life with that energy. You know, looking at those things. Anytime we create something, like we draw it out on a piece of paper, and you don't have to be an artist to do this, it helps you to infuse that energy into your soul, because our souls are creative. And then the piece of paper, you know, are you able to say what your message was?
Yes, it was, you are completely unique.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that was yourself giving you that gift, writing that for you. You know that in your deep seat of your soul.
Yeah. I love this because it really is. I mean, I feel so, and I typically feel pretty empowered, but I feel so empowered now. And I didn't even realize I was not necessarily feeling that way. I was all crunched up in my body. So what an amazing thing that you just took us through that, because, you know, for everyone listening, they all get to go through that experience themselves. So I really just want to thank you for that, because it's a really profound experience you just walked us through.
Thank you. Yeah, and the thing I'll say real quickly is, you know, this is for everybody. You have a very enlightened audience, because I can feel the energy. And this is for you just being, I don't want to say better, because it like feels, but just being more of you. You know, you are already empowered, Kristen. I agree with that 100%. And what I feel, and like I just feel like this is about you growing even more into that, what that means. So that's for everybody on this call. So thank you for allowing me to use you.
Oh, absolutely. That's my job. And I hope all of you went along with that, because I really encourage you to do so. This was a very, very empowering exercise that we went through. And that's what I get excited about, Marilyn. That's why I'm here. That's why I asked you on, because I knew that's something you could share with us. And sure enough, you did. And there's so much. I feel like it feels like there's just so much within you to share, which I am so excited about. And that's why I wanted to share you with everyone as well. So, Marilyn, what I love about this, it was such an empowering experience, and that's exactly why I'm here doing this. What I would love for you to share, just because I think it really helps the people listening to go, oh, okay, all right, you know, I felt something happen there, and this is what's possible. Do you have any stories you can share with us from people that have worked with you on all of this, you know, where they've experienced some breakthroughs or turnarounds?
Yeah, I have different people. Like one student I'm thinking of right now is, she was in law school and she was an attorney. And by working with this information and this energy and this class and everything, she was able to recognize that that was a path that was more or less dictated to her through her family and wasn't something that she was meant to do. That she was more of a creative being, not that lawyers aren't creative, they're very creative, but needed to use her way in a creative aspect, a creative way. And so she left law school and then created an app for the iPhone about fashion, because that was much more of who she was. So by doing this work, she was able to empower herself, be able to turn against her family. They were fine, but to say, I'm not going to do this any longer, stop law school and pursue her life's dream. And that I think is really, really beneficial and great. And then I have another woman who was raised in a family where it was all about, school and science and math and practical things. And by doing this work, she was thinking about being an actress and going towards acting, but was a little bit hesitant about it. She's in her 30s, whatever she was speaking to herself about, age doesn't matter. And by doing this work, she started to recognize that this is really who she is. She really needs to go into a much more creative field, needs to go into acting. And she has really gone into it like 100% and not even looked back. She's just like, this is who I am. She knows herself better. There's a certainty there. There's a confidence there that was lacking before. And there's not that second guessing of, well, maybe I can't do this. Like all that riffraff conversation that's in her head from her upbringing. So that's those are a couple of success stories that I feel. What it really has done for a lot of people that have studied with me is it has allowed them to take a look at the path that they're on, take a look at what they've spent a lot of time, energy, and investment of money in, and say to themselves, no, I don't care, I'm abandoning ship because that's not who I am. And then they're able to go to exactly where they want to be. I have another one who was an assistant for a very wealthy couple, and she became a life coach around food because that was much more of her passion, and left a very high-paying job to do that, but trusted that she was going to be fine and is doing actually great.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, it sounds like, and this is what's so incredible and what I'm so thrilled to be able to share with everyone listening, is it sounds like these are really ways for us to get very much in touch with who, our authentic selves and our true, like, what we're truly here to express and be and live and all of that. And that's exciting and that's empowering. And that's really, I think, when we all get into heightened vibrations, and that's when the world starts to change. Obviously, there's so much more that we could do with you. And, there's no way we could even fit it in today. But I could sit here and work with you all day long. You actually created a special offer when I asked you to for everybody who's listening. Everyone, I highly encourage you, simply click on that special offer button that is on this page and you'll be taken right there. And Marilyn, can you let us know what we'll find here?
Yeah, this is the chakra class that I taught. It's MP3 recordings, 5 MP3 recordings, and each recording I'm following along with you guys. Each lesson teaches you a different thing. It teaches you, the first lesson covers the first chakra, and then the second lesson, second and third. Third lesson is fourth and fifth, and fourth lesson is sixth and seventh. And what you're doing is you're learning how to clear each chakra, how to balance it, how to open up to your psychic gifts. I teach you about your psychic gifts in those chakras, how to meet one or more guides, how to work with ascended masters or angels, how to work with nature in balancing and opening your chakras, things that are available to you every single day. How to work with gemstones and crystals and flowers and things like that, owning your power in each of these chakras, connecting with your truth that lives inside of you, like I just explained in those stories. And really making very focused decisions or very clear decisions, no longer feeling like, well, should I do this or should I do that? It gets you very clear about what is best for you, what's going to help you to move forward in your life. And what's interesting with the work that you see that I can do, and I do with these class also, is you will work with certain types of situations, but you don't really know what I'm asking all the time. So you'll go through the course and I'll say pick a number from 1 to 10. And you don't know what that means, and then you go and you pick a number 5, and then you find out, oh, it means such and such. And what happens with people in my classes that do this work, they're like, oh, my goodness, then I looked it up, and I could not believe that it was telling me everything I was asking. And that's what I love, because it allows you to realize that you can read for yourself and trust yourself.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really good. I love it. I love my guides do that with me. And then I offered a couple of free bonuses. One is a private Facebook page. My private Facebook pages do really well in my courses because people get to meet like-minded people. They get to share their stories. They help each other out. They support each other. I pop in on the page and answer questions. I try to get on once a week at least. So you get an interaction. A lot of times the questions get answered because the vibration in these classes is so high that people just offer up solutions. And I don't allow ego-based solutions, so you'll see that it's very love-based because otherwise they'd be thrown out of the class. I just won't put up with that. And then Manifesting with the Moon is a class that I taught. It's a 2-hour class. It's really wonderful. It teaches you how to work with the energy of the moon. And I do a thing called a color vision board because this allows you to work with color and not with pictures from magazines so that you're really infusing it with your own energy, your own source energy, and it allows things to come to you that you didn't necessarily picture because then things can come to you that are even better than you imagined. It allows gifts to come in, and I just love that color vision board, and I love the moon energy. And then there's a class about clairvoyancy, clear seeing. Like I said, I teach clairvoyancy different. It's for the everyday person. So you really learn how your guides are speaking to you, who has your back, how the universe talks to you. And then there's a clairaudience class. Clairaudience is clear hearing. There's not a lot written about it. When I was studying as a medium, I had to really rely on my guides to teach me. And this class goes through how you can hear and how you can use external sounds and everyday things to understand what your guides or God or source is telling you so that you can make better decisions in your life and more grounded into your life. That's it.
Wow, that's amazing. And here's one of the things that I love is that you're showing us not so that we feel like we have to rely on you, but as you said, you're showing us that we can actually read for ourselves and we can do this for ourselves because I think that's really, really important. So I love that that's something that matters to you.
It really does because my goal as a medium is to teach everyone how to do it for themselves so they don't need me. I had a dog trainer say to me, well, you're going to, put yourself out of business. I said, no, I'm just going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
So it's just really important to me for people to realize that they can do this for themselves.
Yeah, I think that's something that is so commendable and really says something about how passionate you are about this. Now, let me ask you this. When we start working with the program that you have here, what are some of the biggest benefits that we might start experiencing literally right away?
I would say the biggest benefit would be really knowing yourself on a level that you haven't known yourself in a long time. So, like, if there's cloudiness around love, all of a sudden you're getting very clear about what's causing you from bringing in certain relationships and how to bring in a better relationship that's more suited for you. It's like you're just really getting to know yourself on such a level of profound energy, and you're also going to start attracting in energy that is more beneficial to you. That's what I feel like is very much profound right away. You're taking all shades up, you're taking all walls up, and you're now going to start attracting into your life things that benefit you, not things that don't benefit you.
Wow. Okay. And see, that's the other thing that I love is that you're showing us how to use these things and actually apply them directly to our lives here on the physical plane, which I think is so exciting. This isn't just like, ooh, this is how I get to go hang out with my guides, which would be very cool as well. But it's literally then how do we take this and use it in the physical lives that we are here living?
Right. Exactly.
And that's exciting. That's very cool.
Yeah, it really allows you to know yourself on a level that you really do need to know yourself. And don't be afraid of knowing yourself because what you discover is a real inner beauty. I think some of us are afraid to really know ourselves at that level because we're afraid what we'll uncover. And that's just a myth. Really what's underneath it all is this magnificent beauty, this magnificent soul. And you're really walking out into your life, owning your life, the life that you're meant to be living, not the life that you feel like you're trudging along in.
I love that. Yeah, we don't need to trudge along in our lives. And let me ask you this. What would you say about, here's something I hear all the time from people listening, and this is something I'm very passionate about. Well, Kristen, I really have always wanted this, but I'm 60 years old, or I'm 30 years old, or I'm 80 years old, and literally from all of these ages I hear this. And so I feel like it's too late.
that's a disservice that you're doing to yourself, because you're going to be 80 years old no matter what. You're going to be 60 years old no matter what. Why not be 60 years old living a life that you're really meant to be living? Spirit does not care if all of a sudden you decided at 75 years old to become a life coach. Thank goodness, because you really have a lot more wisdom than a lot of us at different ages, and you're going to be able to offer that up to people. Don't do that to yourself, because you may be living for another 20 years on this earth plane, and what are you doing then? You're living a life that you don't want to live. Age really has no significance in this work whatsoever.
I love that. So it's never too late.
It's never too late. It's like when my brother was going into law school, and he said to my mother, I'm going to be 30 years old when I graduate law school. She said, you're going to be 30 years old no matter what. So why not be 30 years old graduating from law school?
You might as well graduate from law school. That's
exactly.
So true. That's fantastic. I love that. Okay. If you haven't yet, just click on the special offer button on this page to see for yourself what an amazing package this is. You'll be glad you did. Marilyn, I have to say, you're so real. And I love it, because you're just literally like, what can I share with you? You've shared so much with us today. And I'm thrilled with that. And I can't wait for everybody. I'm so excited that they got to go through that experience with us, because that was a really intense, like, you really got in there. You weren't just like giving us a little taste. And so I so appreciate you doing that. And, everyone listening, you're all extraordinary. I'm thrilled to be here with you. I would love, Marilyn, if you have any final words of brilliance or whatever you feel compelled that we need to know from you. Can you share those with us now?
I don't know if they're going to be words of brilliance.
No pressure.
The thing that came to me was, because sometimes when everybody asks me for a story, and I tend to not remember things, so luckily it gets repeated to me from people. But I feel like the reason why that happens is because you all need to go out and make your own stories. You all need to go and say, if this resonates with you, if this is work that you feel that is resonating with you right now, go out, do the work, and make your own life happen. Make your story happen. And I just have to thank all of you for holding this space for me, for allowing me to do this work and to share the wisdom that gets dropped into me from my guides, because I really, truly do enjoy it, and it really makes my story on this earth a beautiful story. So thank you so much.
And thank you. And I love that. Everyone, go make your story, because it is completely within your power to do that. And you're all absolutely extraordinary. Thank you all for being here. And Marilyn, thank you so much. I can't wait till we get to do this again.
Thank you, Kristen, so much.
Absolutely. And until the next time, everyone, keep manifesting. Bye-bye, all.